This week on What to Watch, Fox's 5th season of The Masked Singer is here just in time to entertain the masked everyone else.
The game just changed.
Plus, Paramount Plus is giving us a reunion no one asked for, but that will still make you say, hey, I'm watching here.
All over again.
And a soon-to-be King of Zamunda, a Disney princess, and an all-grown-up Spider-Man will be coming to your screens.
What did you just say?
The TV train is leaving the station. All aboard for What to Watch. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entertainment Weekly's What to Watch, the show where EW staff help you solve your viewing dilemmas. I'm your host, Gerrad Hall, and sharing the virtual stage with me from 3 different locations, but not in an awkward way, our executive editor, Clarissa Cruz, digital director, Shana, Naomi Krochmal, and digital news director, Jillian Sederholm. Hey, everyone, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, great to see all of you. All right, well, kicking things off this week, Fox is premiering season 5 of The Masked Singer next week. I can remember when it was just a little Masked series premiere. They grow up so fast, don't they? Well, the show is promising some fun surprises, some celebrity panel hilarity, and of course, incredible disguises. I'm personally excited for the Russian doll. It reminds me of cold nights at my babushka's house, listening to her stories. Oh my God, she could make me laugh so hard. Playing with her Matryoshka dolls. Her mother had given them to her and her grandmother before her. I can still feel the wood if I just close my eyes. So smooth. Well, anyway, Jillian, based on what you know so far, what has you most excited about the new season of The Masked Singer?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm quite as excited as you were there, but I am fully invested in the celebrity guessing game of it and the just seeing which celebs we're going to get now. We're in, still in full quarantine. People are bored, looking for jobs. So let's see who they got.
Yeah, okay, I want to come back to that in just a second because you talked about we're still in quarantine, COVID, we're still in a pandemic. Host Nick Cannon tested positive, so the hilarious and very talented Niecy Nash has stepped in as guest host. So tell us about that. Do we know how long she'll be on? How many episodes?
We don't fully. They aren't telling us exactly how many episodes, but they are telling us that she's kicking off the season and that Nick Cannon will be rejoining towards the second half of the season. So we know that he is fully recovered and will be joining us at some point. Niecy has been doing press with the other panelists and producers, and just hearing them all together, their rapport was really great. So I'm so excited for the energy that she's going to bring to the show and see how she plays off Kin.
All right, so Fox has teased that this is the season of surprises. That's a direct quote. What do they mean? What kind of surprises?
Yeah, they're calling this a game-changing season, and we know that there are 2 big format changes. One is the introduction of wildcard rounds. So we're going to have 10 main contestants this season, which is a few less than normal. But then we are going to have randomly throughout the season, at some point in certain episodes, a wild card contestant is going to pop out and insert themselves in the game and possibly take the spot of one of the contestants who we thought was moving forward. And so it seems like they're going to have their own clue packages and just be completely new celebrities that are inserted into the game. So that's a big difference. The other big change is the introduction of a new character named Kloodle-Doo, who is a giant rooster who will be around to mess with the panelists. Apparently, Kloodle-Doo is going to pop up once in a while to offer new clues, some of which could be misdirects. So sounds like a lot of mischief.
Okay, all right. Well, that'll certainly liven things up. I feel like they have to kind of keep things fresh on a show like this, right? Because otherwise the novelty could wear off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. The show has already pulled in some big names from the past couple seasons. Do you expect, because as you mentioned, celebrities are just sitting at home doing nothing, do you think this is kind of like, oh, I can do this show, they're able to film in COVID, I can make some money?
Yeah, what we do know about all 10 of the contestants and the unknown number of wildcard contestants combined this season, we are getting 26 Grammy nominations amongst them, 4 Academy Award nominations, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 9 multi-platinum singles, 2 gold medals, 2 world record holders, and a cliddle-doo in a pear tree.
Before we head to break, we here at What to Watch decided that we wanted to get in on the masked fun too, besides the masks that we're wearing every day out in public. So without further ado, here to share their thoughts on the new season of The Masked Singer is our very own masked staffer, aka the Masked Panda. Take it away.
If there are more stars like Sarah Palin on the cast of The Masked Singer Season 5, these celebs should absolutely remain masked this time.
Oh, intriguing. That's okay. I don't know if I got anything out of that at all, but we will soon figure out who the Masked Panda is. And by the way, I have a clue for all of you as well. This bear doesn't like to hibernate. Their favorite season is winter, and the rest is just summertime sadness. Think about that for a few minutes. All right, we need to take a quick break, but when we return, fire up the confessional, stop being polite, and start getting, well, you know where this is going. Stick around. Welcome back, everyone. Beyonce's Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, Julia Roberts in Homecoming, and now Paramount Plus is reuniting MTV's first ever 7 strangers picked to live in a house in its new series, The Real World: Homecoming New York. This week, the streaming platform airs the first installment of its 6-part docuseries, and almost 3 decades later, audiences get to tune in to see Norman, Julie, Kevin, Becky, Andre, Heather B, and Eric once again having their lives taped in the very same Soho loft they were in back in 1992. So Shana, it's kind of easy to forget just how groundbreaking this series was, especially at the time of its first season. And over the years, the show tackled topics like racism, sexual orientation, the AIDS epidemic, substance abuse, religion, and all, for lack of better term, in a very real way, which is something that audiences don't necessarily attribute to reality TV as much anymore. So how does reuniting the cast in particular fare in the year 2021?
I think really well. I went back to rewatch the original season as it aired recently. Watching that and then watching the first episode of this reunion was really moving. I had more feels about all of this that I could possibly quantify. From the very first moment of hearing that this was a thing that was going to happen, I was, I think, 15 when the original aired, and it was very formative for me as a person. I think it made me want to be a grown-up who lived in a city and got to do exciting adult things, whatever that meant. Watching this now, obviously almost 20 years later, everyone felt very young, but also, there's no filter. I think Real World is often credited with having essentially invented the modern reality show. And what I was really struck by in going back and watching the original was that the kids, most of them are early 20s, if that. Yeah. Really, there's no sense of being observed, of being watched. And so you get this very natural just sense of their youth. They just say what they think. They say what they feel. They get in arguments with each other. They hug each other. They play pranks on each other. And watching them start to reunite, you could really see that come back to life. There's a genuine affection, a curiosity. They've kept in touch a little bit, but not so much that there aren't questions for each other. And it felt still very exciting in a different way, I think, obviously, than the original.
Yeah, and of course there's going to be drama here as they address things from the show 30 years ago, but they are still having very, cultural conversations all these years later. But on the flip side, heartwarming moments too. You think we're going to get, some fun for them? Because, by the way, Heather rolls in with a suitcase full of liquor.
Heather, can you get the phone? Heather B, truly one of the best characters, I feel like, who's ever characters. And they talk about what it's like to have people refer to them as characters, right? Heather and Julie should have gotten a spin-off from the original to start off with. So the heartwarming and the fun moments that they get to have coming back together as adults, coming back is amazing. But, I think people are there to have fun, but they have real thoughts and real, this impacted their lives in really dramatic ways because they didn't know going into it what to expect. They thought, okay, we're going to get paid to live for, a few months. They were all basically starving artists. That seemed like a good deal to them. I don't think any of them came close to contemplating that they would have an iconic impact in a way that anyone would want to know what they were doing 20 years later, let alone build a show around it. And I think they have a lot of emotions to work through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is for sure. That the fight, one of the most famous TV fights ever, will definitely be addressed. But they're just so much fun together. Like you said, it's just you like to try to capture lightning in a bottle more than once. They did pretty well, but also let's look at over the years, like the gimmick kind of started to wear out. They tried to do explosions, skeletons, go big or go home, and then the last season they did in 2019, that was Atlanta. That was on Facebook Watch, not even on MTV. So do you think
I didn't even
in any
know
way,
that.
right? Yeah. So this reunion that's going to be on Paramount Plus, do you think this could revive interest in the series, or is reality TV just oversaturated at this point?
It's a good question, because I think, like, is there additional nostalgia-driven interest for more seasons of this? I'd love to know what happens in the second season of LA, the third season in San Francisco. A lot of those folks are a very close-knit bunch, some of whom I've worked with in the past around various issues around HIV and AIDS awareness. So they've actually stayed really close and vocal. But some of those later seasons, it was so hard to imagine that they really even liked each other that it's hard to imagine what we would need to bring them back together.
All right, you guys, it is time for another hot take from our masked staffer, Panda. Are you guys ready? Panda, start getting real about this real-world reunion.
A real-world New York reunion? If I wanted to stew in household drama during quarantine, I'd just put my ear to the wall and listen to my neighbors argue about how early is too early to start drinking on a workday.
Is there an answer to that question?
I'm drunk
I thought it
right
was
now.
Like noon, right? But anyway, here is another clue that I have for you guys. Pandas love to chew on bamboo leaves, but there's one leaf that this EW staffer would rather not consume: cilantro. Think about that. All right, we need to take a quick break. Start popping your corn now, because when we come back, we're kicking off the first annual What to Watch Film Festival. Stick around. Welcome back to What to Watch. Movie theaters around the country are slowly continuing to reopen, but in the meantime, if viewers want to save the trip and skip the mask, there's still a strong supply of new films available to stream from home. And Clarissa is here to Roger Ebert us through the latest offerings. Clarissa, let's start with the movie we've been looking forward to the longest, I think, Coming to America. It is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video. It has been 30 years since Prince Hakeem first moved to Queens, and Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, and multiple Eddie Murphys are back in the States to search for his long-lost son and heir, played by Jermaine Fowler. So Clarissa, is this return as spectacular as a Zamundan wedding, or should Hakeem have saved his airline miles?
Well, let me just preface this by saying that I am a huge fan of the original, and I will have watched this no matter what. I wouldn't say it's an improvement or even as good as the original, but it hits all the nostalgic notes and is a lot of fun. But those coming to the franchise fresh may be a little bit underwhelmed.
All right, that's fair. Sometimes when a franchise waits this long for a return, there's a distinct kind of passing the torch feeling. Does Jermaine Fowler or anyone else in the cast stand out as a comedic heir to Eddie Murphy?
Well, that is just an impossible question, Gerrad, because those are huge shoes to fill. I don't think Jermaine Fowler or really any other comedian in his or her right mind would claim to be the heir to Eddie Murphy. But that said, Wesley Snipes is in the new Coming to America, and he's great. He plays the villain, General Izzy, and it's a very full circle moment for him. He actually auditioned for the original Coming to America, but lost out to Eric LaSalle for the role of Lisa's boyfriend, so he was very happy to be back for this.
All right. Let's move on to Cherry. This is the pretty harrowing new movie directed by the Russo brothers, which is co-adapted by their Russo sister, and it is streaming now on Apple TV+. Tom Holland stars as a desperate young veteran who robs banks to pay for an opioid addiction stemming from his time on the front lines. This is a story that seems, it's pretty gritty and seems novel in their filmography. So have they depicted the struggles of real war as well as they did the Infinity War?
Well, they definitely get gritty here. Tom Holland plays the main character, and he is a long, long way from Peter Parker, let's just say. But this is a story close to the Russos' heart. They have friends and family who have suffered from the opioid crisis, and it's part of the reason why they chose to do this film. So yeah, I do think it's a pretty heightened realistic view of war.
Yeah, I think that that has certainly touched the lives of a lot of people in this country. With this film and the recent The Devil All the Time, Tom Holland he's really showing that he is adept at handling much darker roles than we're used to seeing him in. Do you think it's just kind of a matter of time before he ditches the spandex and commits to these prestige-type movies exclusively?
Well, between Spider-Man and his umbrella lip sync battle, I hope he never ditches the spandex personally. But I talked to Tom for our Awardist podcast about his choice of roles of late, and he loves the fact that he's stretching different muscles creatively for roles like the one he plays in Cherry. He also thinks Leo DiCaprio is a role model for the kind of career arc he'd like to have, and there's definitely a lot of prestige to be found there. So, I do think there may be a bit of a pivot here.
Yeah, DiCaprio, not a bad one to look up to. All right, finally, let's talk about Disney's newest animated film, Raya and the Last Dragon, that opens in theaters and becomes available on Disney Plus this weekend. The fast-paced adventure centers on the brave Princess Raya and her pet roly-poly bug as they set out to locate the last remaining dragon in a land once lousy with them. Star Wars' Kelly Marie Tran plays Raya, Awkwafina is Sisu the dragon, and the cast is rounded out by voices like Sandra Oh and Alan Tudyk. But besides the familiar cast, this is Disney taking a chance on a new story in a new world. It's not based on any existing property, unlike, obviously Mulan, but it's also not like Pixar-style awards bait like Soul. It does have some great reviews so far, including from our own Leah Greenblatt. So Clarissa, do you think families will be enticed to spend their $30 that it costs to stream this movie?
Well, as a mother of two who is constantly looking for things to do, I will spend $10,000 to get something to occupy my kids for a couple hours. So yes, I do think people will spend for this. And on top of that, I just saw the movie last night and it's fantastic. I really loved it. I watched it without the kids. My husband and I watched it after they went to bed and it was super fun. I thought it was just a beautifully done film, and I think it's a long time coming, having these protagonists, these strong female protagonists. No prince to be found, not necessary, not needed, and just a great movie. I really enjoyed it, and I do think families will shell out for it.
All right, it is time to get to Panda's thoughts on this batch of movies. Take it away, Panda.
Coming to America, I'd rather have a Norbit sequel with Tandy Newton returning. And the only thing popping about this cherry is the film's Rotten Tomatoes score.
Okay. Whoa. All right. Some sass there. All right. For your third clue that I have for the three of you, pandas are black and white, as were some of the films of the masked staffer's distant relative, Gene Kelly. All right, intriguing. It is time for one final break. When we return, the dramatic reveal of our masked panda. Welcome back to What to Watch. Well, it is the end of the show and the moment you've all been waiting for. No, not when I show my 1/8 scale working diorama of Central Park I have in the back room. I've been working on that since the beginning of quarantine. Anyway, it is finally time to reveal our masked critic in all their glory. Throughout the show, you've gotten to see EW Panda give some of their hot takes, and I've given some clues as to who the masked critic might be. To recap, this bear doesn't like to hibernate, their favorite season is winter, and the rest is just summertime sadness. Pandas love to chew on bamboo leaves, but there's one leaf that this EW staffer would rather not consume: cilantro. Pandas are black and white, as were some of the films of the masked staffer's distant relative, Gene Kelly. And one final clue for you. This staffer is wearing a panda mask, but their first celebrity interview at Entertainment Weekly was with the star of The Mask, Cameron Diaz. You guys have some thoughts here? They're all brewing. All right. We're going to bring in the panda right now. The panda is still masked. Now, before we bamboozle you all with our reveal, who are you guessing is under the mask? I think I'm going to start with you, Shana. Thoughts?
I'm completely confused because I would just have assumed this was Jillian, but Jillian is here and we're having like a real Clark Kent Superman situation, so I guess it's probably not Jillian. I'm going to guess it is our writer, Lauren Huff.
Okay, that is a good guess.
That's my guess.
Clarissa, you have some thoughts?
I do, but none of them are coherent. I will guess that it is Joey Nolfi.
He'd be in a penguin bloom mask.
Joe would
That's
be in
true.
a.
That's true.
Joe would. Oh, okay. All right. And Jillian, who do you think it is?
Okay, so I'm going off of some clues, Masked Singer style. So they hate cilantro, so it's someone with no taste. They have seasonal depression, I guess, with summertime sadness, or a big Lana Del Rey fan. They talked about being able to hear their neighbors, which means they have thin walls, so probably someone in New York. So I know exactly who this is. I'm going to say this is EW's brand new editor-at-large, Ken Jeong. We just hired him. Breaking news.
You heard it here first.
Welcome to the staff, Ken Jeong. All right, you know what time it is, you guys. It is time to take it off. That's what they cheer on the show. I'm not just making that up.
Oh, we all know because we're all viewers. Take it off. Take it off.
Take it off. Take it off. It's Joey! Clarissa got it right. Good guessing.
So I was right. Someone with no taste.
No, it was the dancing. It was the. I know Joey's moves.
Jillian, you really didn't. You really had no guess as to who it was on staff.
Of course, I knew who it was. I wasn't going to throw off the entire show.
Just put Jillian on this hosting panel, this judging panel. That's my new goal. My new goal for Jillian's future is to get her on The Masked Singer for real.
It's not fun on The Masked Singer when someone guesses immediately. I just wanted to add to the suspense.
You guys, this has been so much fun. Masked Panda, thank you for joining us. And thanks to the rest of my guests, Clarissa, Cruz, Shana, Naomi, Krochmal, and Jillian Sederholm. And we will see you all next week on What to Watch. Please don't sue us, Fox.